So my last video brought up a ton of questions about boundaries. And so I want to do a series now answering those questions and essentially sum it up with, is it a boundary? So let's get into it. Is it a boundary if I ask someone to stop micromanaging me, or is that more of me advocating for myself? The answer is no, this is not a boundary. Boundaries are not demands, directives, or requests. However, as I am going to state now and will continue to state moving forward, we are allowed to make requests of people. We are allowed to set standards for how people treat us. And I think this is actually a great opportunity to implement nonviolent communication. So the 4 tenets of nonviolent communication are observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So let's start with observation. So observation is really a neutral and clear, concise understanding of what the stimulus is that is causing us a reaction. The important thing about the observation phase, like when we say something like micromanaging, right, is that we make sure that it's free of judgments, of assumptions, of fan fiction we write in our head about people's intentions and motivations, that it clearly, concisely, and concretely identifies the pure stimulus. So this is where it's really important to focus on action. So instead of using kind of a big umbrella term like micromanaging that also assumes some responsibility or intent of another person, you could focus on the direct thing. In this one, I'll make up an example. Let's say that this person consistently edits documents while you are actively writing them. So the observation stage would be when you edit documents while I'm actively writing in them. That's what we're observing as the stimulus. Then we can move into feelings, right? And feelings, again, in nonviolent communication, have to focus on us and our experience. The ideal scenarios is that our feelings don't even include words that are things like misunderstood or taken for granted, because even those types of words have an implication or implied knowing about another person's intent. So to continue on with this little puzzle, when you are editing the document while I am writing it, I feel frustrated and ineffective. Right? So we've got part 1, observation, paired with part 2, feelings. Part 3. Part 3 is where we express our need, right? And the need is really what underpins the request, right? If you think of these kind of as a flow chart, you have the observation, what's happening that caused a reaction in me, how it's causing me to feel, right? What I actually need, and then what I'm about to ask you for so that we are able to meet that need. The important thing about getting in touch with our needs in a situation, especially when we're reacting to something like micromanaging or something that's causing us distress, is to really separate the need from a strategy. To just think, okay, when this person is editing my document as I'm writing it, what do I actually need? Maybe you need to feel a little bit more autonomy and space so that you're able to think and present your best strategic work. Maybe you need to have a sandbox where you're able to edit and refine over time and have the final product be what's critiqued so that you're able to engage in your own refinement process and feel proud of what you're putting forth. Or maybe you just need a little room so that you can have some clarity to deliver whatever it is that you're delivering. Whatever the case may be, this is just an example. Once you find that need, you're going to link it to the rest of everything else. When you edit my documents while I am writing them, I feel frustrated and ineffective. I need some space and some distance before I have editors in so I'm able to refine my final product and make sure that it's ready for review. The final part of nonviolent communication is our request. So what we are going to request of another person now that we have made them aware of what is happening, right? What is the stimulus? Very action-based, very clear. How we are feeling about it, right? What we need, and now it's time to tell them what we need from them. So generally there's 2 types of requests. There's connection requests and there's solution requests. This kind of situation, I think, obviously needs a solutions request, unless this is happening to such an extent that there's been relational damage where we're looking for an apology as well, or something along those lines. So when we're coming up with our requests, right, the request has to be specific and ideally be aligned with the need that we've expressed. So it can't be something like, I need you to get off my back. I need you to leave me alone, right? This isn't a functional, actionable request. If we're reflecting our need as I need time to refine this document before it is edited by other members of the team and you, that request could be as simple as, I need a 72-hour window before you enter any documents that I'm working on. Or I need to know expressly that you will not begin editing my document until I have sent this to the rest of the team, right? And so when you close out the observation, the feeling, the need, and the request with a tangible request that relates back to the need, we've essentially done a really great job of nonviolent communication and presented someone a really actionable step to meet your needs effectively. I know this sounds mushy and woo-woo as I'm walking it through, but the reason that nonviolent communication is so effective, even at like international scales in the UN, brokering peace treaties, is because this structure, for whatever reason in our brains, is really, really hard to say no to and increases a felt sense of collaboration. Now, the spirit of nonviolent communication also means that we need to be prepared to hear a no. And if that is the case, if our request is denied, we should be prepared to come up with other solutions that will fundamentally meet this need, right? We should be willing at this point in the conversation to be able to brainstorm and figure out something that will work for everybody, that will alleviate this felt sense of micromanaging, that will alleviate whatever is causing this person to feel like they need this much oversight on your work, project, life, whatever the case may be, and give you the autonomy and space that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do. But I think the most important thing of all, even if you don't follow these steps, is that the language is concrete and doable. This is what I need. This is how we can make that happen. This is the request that I have to fulfill this need. So even though this isn't necessarily a space for a boundary, once you have set this up also, it's very easy for you to say, I will not be responding to edits until I've had my 72-hour window. There, you have a boundary in place because you already have an agreement, right, on how this process is supposed to work or what you will do and what you will control within your own behavior. I will not be responding to emails until the deadline for this project. I will not be responding to comments or edits within this document until my submission deadline and I've opened the document for edits for the team, whatever the case may be. This was a long rambly video, but I hope you enjoyed it because I'm having really fun answering these questions.